Man, I know I'm not the only one to be sitting here wanting to come up with a project, but literally cannot think. After working all week, all weekend, you come back home, you finally get a chance to kick your feet off, kick your socks off, put them up, lay back in the chair, and start typing on your computer. And you can't come up with no ideas. I know I can't be no. Well, that was me last week. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little burnt out. I'm a little tired. I ain't really feel like doing nothing. And I ain't really had no ideas. But then, bam, out of nowhere, like literally, like lightning coming from the clouds, I come up with an idea that blew the game out of the water. Literally, it was the best idea that I had ever come with. I couldn't think of anything else that could be better than this. And plus, this was something I've been wanting to do for a minute. So let me go ahead and tell y'all what that was. I know you're probably familiar with VS Code. You're probably familiar with Xcode, Notepad++, add-on, and who knows all the IntelliJ, all these other IDEs, right? But I'm gonna be honest, whenever I first started coding, the first IDE I used was VS Code. But as I started getting along the lines of, oh, okay, well, I know how to do this now, I started thinking, why don't I make my own IDE? And I was like, man, okay, cool. Well, of course, saying let's make your own IDE is a little easier said than done. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, everybody should know this. But I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. But the problem was, I didn't simply want to make just an IDE because what's the point? There was already so many IDEs that were powerful, that have different functions, scalability, all this other stuff that I could be using instead of having to literally go rocks and stone and some way form a whole new version of IDE. Like, I mean, it was gonna take forever. Nobody was gonna use it, so it was just like, man, I don't know. So I ended up coming with this project called Linkside. Now, you may ask, what is Linkside? Now, Linkside is somewhat of a development environment, I guess, that combines database, drawing forms, to-do lists, IDEs, some servers that you can create on your own, and also some general stuff like some AI and some API calls or web scraping. They're 9 yards. So I'm sitting over here thinking like, oh my goodness, I have the best idea in the world. I finally got a project, and I'm just happy and just thankful for the fact that I finally found something. But of course, we gonna run into problems. That's kind of how it is. That's kind of how it is. But first, I was trying to plan it. So I don't really use a whole lot of different frameworks. I usually try to kind of stay on the same frameworks that I like, just so I can get good at them, and then really make some stuff before I jump into another framework. So I learned Fled, I learned Dearpygui, those Python frameworks, of course. And then if you want to say maybe some web frameworks like Telerik, Blazor, all these other things, just those. I worked with them, but I'm gonna be honest, my favorite for sure is definitely gonna be Python. I had to stick with Python with it just because I've been doing it for so long, and it's been so, like, who doesn't like Python, man? You literally, it's the snake. Who doesn't like Python? So anyways, I ended up being like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and plan it out. So I got the parts. So of course I have, like I said, the IDEs, database, all these other different components. But what was the general scheme of why? What was the point? Because we already have DB, SQLite, SQL Server, and MongoDB, Postgres, all these other database softwares. You got your IDEs, you got your APIs, you got your AI, ChatGPT, OpenAI, their stuff, Copilot, and a million other chatbots and AIs that you can use. So what's the point? What was the point? That was the general purpose. And I'm sitting up here trying to figure out, that's a great question. Why in the world am I even doing this? What's the point? But listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay, so basically, as I've been going through just learning different projects, making different projects, I've realized that I really don't like switching tabs. It's very annoying whenever you're sitting there coding away, typing on your computer and your preferred language, and then all of a sudden you got to switch to Google Chrome, to Microsoft Edge, or you got to open up another application to be able to do something so you can check your database, or you have to pull out Microsoft Paint, the OG. I have to use Microsoft Paint to be able to, make a layout of it, or use some type of alternative application. It was just a lot. So I was like, why don't I just get a simple part of each application that I use on a day-to-day basis when it comes to the development, and I put it all together inside a little window. And it came with it was a great idea. It was amazing. It really came together. Now, the idea was to be able to have a side window with a bunch of buttons on it that can pull up these main windows that are basically the simple parts of each application that I've used every day. But it didn't have the extra bloat. It didn't have the extra stuff that most applications do, to do the advanced things and things that people usually don't use half of the time, 75% of the time, 88% of the time. I mean, we don't use these tools like that unless this is literally what you do every day. So I was like, as somebody that just hobbyist, I think this would be amazing. It'll be able to bring all these tools together to keep it for where I don't get distracted. Like, I mean, look, I even added a music to it. I added music. Come on now, music, so you don't get distracted from going to YouTube and finally finding that video of Mr. Beast and wanting to watch Mr. Beast instead of having to get back on code, and then now you're sitting over here wondering why you didn't get anything done for 2 hours. Yeah, I thought about all this. I'm gonna be honest, I thought about all this. So my future plans for it, I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't think that I'm going to release it to where it's big. I don't think that I'll be able to, of course, sell it and finally make a stable income to retire and be on the beach with my feet up on this. I don't think it's gonna be like that. But it is definitely going to be an amazing tool that I get a chance to put together. Not only because I didn't have a project, but this project will help me along with the other projects. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for all of it. We're just getting things done. So the only problem is, the idea is there. We got the plans, but the only thing about it is it has not been done yet. I have not put anything together. I have not put any as of right now. These are the only 2 things I have. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do. But man, I'm gonna make sure to document. I'm gonna make sure to keep up with it. I'm gonna make sure to post it. And yeah, whenever I get it finally finished, or at least get some more put on here on the application, then yeah, I think I'm gonna post it. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna see how I